Joining. Welcome everyone to today's Fireside Chat with TrustMe's founder and CEO, Younus Aftab. Welcome, Younus. Today, we're going to be talking about why lack of visibility in R&D is hurting your business. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Miria Tague. I'm an advisor with TrustMe.ai. I've been working with Younus for many years. And so I'm just going to be facilitating a conversation today. Younus founded TrustMe after years as a leader in the tech space, where he identified an opportunity to help solve one of business' largest challenges, and that's action-based organizational visibility. And we'll talk a little bit about that, why it's hurting your R&D. So without further ado, let's get started with learning more. So first, welcome, Younus. Thank you so much for being here today. For those who don't know Younus, he has been a leader in the tech space and worked with various major players. So some of those include Microsoft, Zenprise, of course, Pulse Secure, most recently Navis and Caleres with KKR, and now, of course, as the founder of TrustMe. So, let's dive in. Talk to me a little bit about your experience and some of the things that you've encountered over the years.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. Thanks for having me. It's been a great journey so far, and that journey fed into creating TrustMe.ai. Regardless of the size of company that I worked at as an R&D leader, running large teams or product portfolios, I observed working with a lot of partners as well as business leaders. There are some common themes that affect businesses a lot on an ongoing basis. As this comes to their software development organizations in particular. And on R&D in the software world is usually typically a word reserved for people who are writing software. A lot of times R&D leaders themselves and other leaders did not have a lot of visibility into what was going on in their operations, what are all the risks, and be it a very large company like Microsoft or early stage startup like Zenprise, that means that they often did not have data on how effective their development organization was, how that organization was affecting their revenue goals, how was their organization affecting their customer satisfaction. And in a nutshell, that ends up creating some serious challenges, because when you don't have visibility, you end up making decisions that are reactive. You are unable to forecast what are the consequences of your actions would be, where the spend needs to go, how that spend needs to be prioritized, how that spend needs to be allocated. And last but not least, you are certainly not ready to deal with any unforeseen risks that might come your way, like issues like security or other threats in your organization.
Yeah, of course. And you mentioned, CSAT, and that's, of course, something that you and I encountered a lot over the previous years working together. So for those of you who are maybe not familiar, Younus and I have worked together in previous iterations at Navis, now part of Caleres with KKR. And one of the big challenges that we were consistently trying to solve was, how do you get data, real actionable, usable data into the organization to help guide some of these real business decisions that have downstream impacts beyond just our revenue? So yeah, so for those of us talking about this today, it sounds really obvious. We need data, we need visibility in order to be more effective and actionable, to be more secure, to be more growth oriented. So why aren't we addressing some of these issues as they're happening when they're happening so often, and we all know that they're there?
Yeah, that's a great point. And, a lot of times when businesses think about what they need to do, I think they take an approach that is maybe outside in. They wait for the customer to tell them what's wrong. And that's the journey, you and I have lived together in the past. Customer satisfaction is a great metrics that tells you what your customers are thinking, but imagine that's already too late. You're not able to predict what you should be doing to improve that customer satisfaction unless of course, people like yourself have taken that leadership and opened their eyes, but oftentimes they don't have access to real-time data. They don't have access to data that is normalized. A lot of times, productivity, efficiency data is self-certified. Developers are often left to kind of report and explain what they're doing, so creates organizational overhead. And budgets get allocated in places where they shouldn't, and they might not lead into improving the customer satisfaction. So I think it's time that we change the model. And certainly you want to listen to your customers. Certainly you want to treat them as guiding principles for improving, evolving your product. But there is a huge need of looking inside out and looking at the data that is happening as you're building the product, as you are thinking about adding more features, as you are evolving it for the future, and linking that to the customer journey, so that you have early signs of if the allocation of those large sums of budget is going in the right place.
Yeah, that's really getting us ahead of the curve in terms of a lot of the risk that we all know exists within our organizations, but sometimes we don't get to see it until it's too late, as you say, to actually do anything meaningful about it. So this is clearly a huge problem within the industry. We know that it's costing businesses billions of dollars. We know that there's enormous financial risk, both to individual industries and organizations, but also as we think about security and visibility as a whole. And when we take a look at that, there's just so many recent examples where that downstream impact went far beyond just the organization. So as we take a look at the most recent Linux hack, as we take a look at what's going on with the FAA security challenges, and then we're all aware that as we start to get into a more modernized healthcare system, the increasing risk of our healthcare data and in that space. So lots of risk. And with that in mind, what was available, or what have you tried in the past to get ahead of some of these things?
Yeah, great question, Maria. And I think what is interesting about today's risk landscape is that a lot of these issues that you mentioned, like the Linux hack, for example, they stem from some very fundamental issues, like having lack of basic hygiene, like not updating your systems or not getting the latest and greatest patch. And I think some of these companies who use these solutions are often not even aware of what can happen. So if they were aware of the problem and they were aware of what is about to hit them, then certainly they could be prepared. And typically these days, this is all dealt with having a great security team or a governance or compliance team. But as we see in our journey that, a lot of companies don't have those great security guys available. They don't have a lot of cybersecurity experts on their staff. They're expensive. There are almost 3.5 million jobs open in America just for security. So a lot of that capability to deal with some of this basic stuff is truly missing. So today, I think a lot of companies might be able to do something about it if they had that extra budget, which a lot of times they don't. If they might be able to put that money to work in terms of orchestrating a plethora of tools, again, which they don't have an understanding. You almost need a PhD to do a lot of this security work. You need to have a ton of experience from the past. So I feel like we, as an industry, software industry in particular, we have developed an ecosystem where we have taken complexity as one of the tenets versus simplicity. We have not thought about how and who the user might be, what their business goals might be. And even though the resources in terms of people and tools might be available, but we have truly left them inaccessible, leaving these businesses who are the users of these products effectively helpless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and so a lot of what you're speaking about, I'm sure, rings true for many people that have worked and led organizations or are in the midst of it right now, where it's a difficult combination of having the right people, the right team, the right tool, and then the right processes and organization around it. And so often what we're seeing is that's either not available or it's siloed somewhere where it's not accessible, which is part of course, the problems that we are solving and you are building and solving with the Trust Me platform and series of solutions. So Trust Me, obviously it's in the name, AI comes into play here. So talk to me a little bit about this buzzword of AI that everybody wants to know, how can we use it? How is it going to impact us? What does it mean for us and our industries? So you're obviously deep into that side of technology. Talk to me a little bit about how does AI impact this? Is it going to make things easier? Is it going to make things more complex? Is it a big unknown? Let us know.
Yeah, no, certainly. And I think the AI is one of those things that its perceived simplicity could be the danger that we are uh, perhaps not prepared to adopt. I think it was one of those technologies that is today a victim of its own success. I mean, the promise of AI is to simplify, it's to automate, it's to orchestrate, it's to be autonomous. And, Maria, you and I have been in a place before in the past building autonomous shipping ports in the world. And I think the dream is real of AI and it should simplify things, but with the responsibility and the governance that today we don't have. Deploying an AI technology, I think most businesses don't have a clear understanding of what this means to their business. Can they trust it? And can they rely on its ability to solve their fundamental business problems? Can they trust that it's not going to create harm or issues with regulations that are coming in, EU, other countries, US and beyond, everybody's talking about it. And then if they can solve that hurdle of trusting it, governing it, then can they get the right level of productivity out of it? So I think AI certainly has the promised land declared for us. I think it has a lot of potential. It has the ability to change the world, but without the proper governance, without the ability to know that if you can trust the fundamentals of AI, I think we are perhaps creating a unpredictable world. And I think some of the issues that we talked about around lack of visibility in terms of people, what's going on in your organization, the organizational effectiveness, I think will get more complicated. It's going to become a bigger and bigger issue, and businesses need to really think about what that could look like. And all this together could continue to cost them a huge sum of money, if not millions, almost billions if you're a large company.
Yeah, excellent insights there. And I think speaks to a lot of what we're seeing with AI, which is this whole concept of with great power comes great responsibility. And there's so much potential in the AI space for us, but as you mentioned, without some governance, some oversight, insight, and the data into what AI is doing or not doing for your organization, you're really left in the dark with a potentially expanding problem, which is, AI is going to be a fascinating new opportunity for all of us, but we do have to be aware of its power within that capability and its risk.
That's
So
right.
that's great. So really good insights into AI, into some of the challenges that you've had, particularly some of the risks when we take a look at the lack of visibility, when we take a look at what that can do in terms of impact to your organization, whether that's financial or downstream. So I know it's been a really exciting world. It's been an exciting road so far, both for TrustMe as well as for the industry as a whole. TrustMe has been helping customers with these exact issues across dozens of industries. And that's one of the beauties of solutions like this. So as we think about AI and the fact that it's industry agnostic, as we think about R&D and all of the other challenges that we have discussed, data and visibility, this isn't just about one industry. And that's one of the beauties of a solution and platform like this that helps with R&D and operations and delivery. I don't think we can end with anything better than that to get kind of the short and sweet on lack of visibility and R&D, unless, Younus, there's anything else that you'd like to close with. I can wrap up with a little bit and hope to talk to everybody soon.
Yeah, no, sounds great. And I think, look, at the end of the day, if we develop this visibility, we will not be hearing words like overhiring and all the major massive layoffs. So hopefully the visibility that we're bringing in avoids some of these issues, regardless of the company size. But we're here to serve our customers and people who are trying to be more effective leaders. So
great. Thank you, Younus. Well, thank you again, Younus, so much for taking the time to share your insights into the industry, to share a little bit of the background and the context and how TrustMe is helping solving some of those issues. I know that many of you who are watching this hopefully want to learn more. This is a big space with a lot of opportunity and a lot of exciting solutions. So please, get in touch. We are available. There we go, via a number of different contact areas. So get in touch via email, via social. We're there and present and ready to talk. And then if you want to learn a little bit more, if you're interested in other topics, please register for MIR, the Security and Governance for AI in Software Development. There's a link for you there to discuss. And thank you everyone for joining. We really look forward to working with you soon. And again, a special thank you to Younus and the TrustMe team for giving us some insights today. Thanks, everybody.
thanks, Maria.